Good morning, all my dear student friends and the faculty. Today, Mr. Narayan Rao and Asari, and we have with us our Vice Chairman, Sridhar Mopala, and also we have especially invited the special guest, CA Piyush Chajarji, newly elected. I should not use the word now. He is new council member from Mumbai, got elected last month only. Results will come out this month. And with this, students, I'm very happy to say that today is the 25th practical training module, which the Board of Education has organized. For last 25th week, we are going on without any interruption. Today, when you can see that festival is on, but we are with our program. And I am thankful to the faculty, both the faculties, Narayan Raoji and Asaji, for accepting our invitation. And we are trying to get something for the student and adding value to their life. Okay. Practical training module, we all know, is the training module which is developed, which they are usually facing difficulties in the office working hour, or they are going to use in their office. With this view, I am requesting Sridhar Mopala, before I will request Piyushji, Sridhar Mopala to say a few words and invite Piyush Chajarji to speak.
Good morning, Sushil sir. Thank you very much. Dear students and my colleague in the council, Piyush Chajarji, and the faculties for the day, both Mr. Narayan Rao sir and the moderator Asha, and the team of staff from Board of Studies Operations. A very good morning to one and all. And I wish you a happy Diwali to all the students and my colleagues. I really appreciate that in spite of being a holiday week and Sunday, all the students are actively participating. As Sushil sir told, today is the 25th week we have been successfully conducting. And let me share, Piyush, there's a practical training module was the decision of the council, because in addition to students having an articles and theoretical training, every student should get on the web base, because now all the segments have become a web base. So with that intention, we have started and successfully we are conducting the 25th week. And the students is really encouraging. On an average, the response is really very good, because the faculties present over here are so experienced and the topics are also so interesting. So today's topic, you will know, financial frauds, an assessment during the audit. It's an interesting area, because though we are not responsible to detect the fraud and errors, but during our examination, yes, we need to be a little skeptical to know that how financial frauds take place. And today with us, we have a senior most faculty. His experience will be really very useful to the members. And let me share, Piyush, the exams are coming, holidays are there, but still the participation from the students is really encouraging. I really appreciate SSCB team for really organizing and taking part this, and request to kindly have a word with the students, because their exams are also nearing, and in spite of that, they have taken a time. Thank you, Piyush. Request to kindly share your words.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman Sushilji Goel, Vice Chairman Sridharji, faculty for the day, Narayan Rao Kolaru, and the moderator Asha and the whole team. Very good morning, my dear students. A very warm welcome to the 25th live practical training module, been organized by the Student Skill Enrichment Board, Board of Studies Operations. I'm pleased to inform you that in all our endeavors, we at ICI strive to provide the best of education and training to our students. To familiarize with the practical aspects of academic learning, as told by Sridhar, the practical training modules have been conceptualized by the SSCB, which is a board under the ICI, wherein the emphasis is laid on giving hands-on training to the students. The topic for today's discussion is very important. Financial frauds awareness during audits has been very aptly chosen by the board, especially with specific reference to frauds awareness, which has been in news day by day. This is in fourth in line as far as audit module is concerned. SSCB has already covered 3 sessions, I believe. One is on introduction of tax audit from practical perspective, automation techniques of effective audit via different tools. Financial fraud occurs when someone takes money or other assets from you through deception or criminal activity. The auditor has a responsibility to plan and perform the audit to obtain a reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement, whether caused by error or fraud. Though there is no primary responsibility of detection of the fraud. But yes, reasonable assurance is required so that financial statements are free of material misstatements. Under existing auditing standards, auditors for issues have a responsibility to consider fraud and to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. When considering materiality, auditors should not assume that even a small intentional misstatements in the financial statements are immaterial. Auditing standards require audit firms to establish some quality control that, when effectively designed and implemented, can promote and enhance the application of professional skepticism in the face of this and other pressures. Auditing standards related to auditors' assessments of and response of risk incorporate requirements for identifying and responding to fraud risk and evaluating audit results. Those standards include having a questioning mind when discussing the potential for material misstatements due to fraud among key engagement team members, and require auditors to set aside any prior beliefs about management's honesty and integrity. Even a forensic auditor or a fraud investigator, it is utmost important to identify nature, signs, prevention, detection, and reaction of frauds that can enable you to perform financial statement audits with awareness of fraud possibilities. Users of audited financial statements generally believe that one of the main objects of audit is fraud detection. So there is some gap to that extent. Since most of the frauds can be detected from financial statements, auditors need to understand fraud and potential fraud situations, and they need to know how to ask the right kind of questions during the audit. In conclusion, auditors are gatekeepers, and therefore the importance of their responsibilities with respect to identification of risk of material misstatement and the detection of material misstatement in the financial statement due to fraud should not be underestimated. Areas that have historically been in focus for auditors, the tone at the top of the company, and the effectiveness of internal control appear to be the key factors in either mitigating such pressures, opportunities, or rationalizations for fraud. This provides auditor with a significant opportunity to support investor protection by helping to identify and address the precursors of financial reporting fraud so that more material misstatements due to the fraud are detected by independent auditors. To aid such standardized practical training, an excellent initiative has been taken by SSEB in the form of practical training modules. I believe these are taken every Sunday. Experts are invited to share their experience and knowledge about the various practical aspects of taxation, corporate laws, accounting, and auditing. You are requested all to kindly attend such lectures, PTMs, on every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. to enhance your skill sets day by day and reap the maximum benefit out of it. Today, we have a learned speaker of the day, C.K. Narayan Rao. I welcome him, and moderator, C.A. Asha Sharma. I welcome both of them, who will be taking you through this very interesting and important subject. I wish you all happy learning and request you to kindly popularize this initiative amongst your peer group. And season's greeting, wish you a very happy Diwali and the happy and prosperous New Year. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Piyush. Thanks a lot for taking out your time and joining. And with you, request the team to kindly introduce the speaker, and let's start from the.
Yes, good morning, students. We have our learned speaker, Mr. C.K. Narayan Koluruji. He has a vast experience of 35 years. And we have our technical moderator, that is C.A. Asha ji. She is a fellow member of the institute and having more than 10 years of experience. She is a partner in A&KG Associates Chartered Accountant. Her core area of practice is GST and income taxation advisory services. She has completed various post-qualification courses of the ICI, that is a certification course in forensic audit and fraud detection, certificate course on GST, certificate course on concurrent audit of banks, certificate course on forex and treasury management, and many other courses. She is also associated with the Lakshminagar CP Center of NIRC, ICI, as a deputy convener. Over to you, ma'am. Kindly introduce the session as well as the sir.
Thank you, Vidiji. Very warm namaste and a very good morning to everyone. First of all, on the occasion of Deepavali, I convey my best wishes to each and every participant attending this webinar and to all the team I wish you all a very happy and prosperous Diwali. At the outset, I would also like to thank Student Skill Enrichment Board of ICAI, Board of Studies Operation, that is SSEB, its Chairman CA Sushil Kumar Sir, Vice Chairman CA Sridhar Mupalla Sir, entire team of SSEB for giving me this opportunity to moderate the session on one of the interesting topic, financial fraud awareness during audits, and which will be deliberated upon by the very renowned speaker, CA Narayan Rao Sir. As we say in any field, one need to guide and mentor the young generation, be it a budding artist, a sports person, a professional, or anyone. A strong and efficient bench strength with a vast practical insight and exposure is an essential element to build an effective and efficient team. And only then it can actually compete in today's competitive world. And our SSEB is doing a great work by way of providing and monitoring high quality practical education to all the students of chartered accountancy course. These are the actual who are the future torch bearers of our noble CA profession. Among various things, one such initiative is conducting webinars and seminars on the practical aspects of training for the students, especially those undergoing articleship. As said by Sushil sir and Sridhar sir also, I congratulate whole the team of SSEB that today it's a Silver Jubilee webinar in this series, which is on the practical training of this financial fraud awareness. Friends, for being aware of fraud, we must understand what the fraud is. In today's session, you will get to learn about various kinds of frauds like cyber fraud, financial frauds, and other concepts in the fraud like fraud triangle and all, red flags, digital forensics, many things. SA 240, that is related to auditor's responsibility relating to frauds, and many more. Students, you may think what the need of this topic is, why to study these things. Remember that Jamtara, a very popular web series, but mind you, it was based on the truth only and nothing imaginary. It was an OTP fraud. In our day-to-day life, we come across some very common fraud like fake SMS for income tax refunds, then lottery winning emails, KYC updates, searching of customer care number on the World Wide Web and getting something else, credit card, banking fraud, document forgery, identity theft, many things. It's just a matter of one click and you are trapped. Nowadays, online markets are a new fraud hub, you can say. Let me tell you some statistical data published by visualcapitalist.com relating to December 2020. It says in every 60 seconds, there are about 8.62 lakhs of dollars spent online. Approx 3,75,000 number of apps download from the Play Store, 4.3 million YouTube watched, 18 million text messages, and millions of chats, Insta posts, etc., all in just 60-second time. Just think how big the canvas is and how easy it would be for the fraudster to make a fraud. We will learn all about cyber fraud, data leak, data theft, financial fraud. Financial fraud, being a CA profession, it is one of the important concepts to learn. Frauds can cause catastrophic losses. The consequences of large failures can impose financial, reputational, loyalty, and other brand-related costs that will persist for a very long time. Jabki cost of a fraud prevention program is very low as compared to the major failure. You must have heard some of the most well-known financial frauds like waste management scandal of US 1998, Enroll scandal, WorldCom scandal, Lehman Brothers, then India ka apna Satyam scandal, stock market in 92, Vijay Mallya case, Nirav Modi, many. We will get learning on fraud examiner, fraud forensic accountant, and forensic auditor also. To put it simply, forensic accounting kya hai? Forensic accounting is something that is used in court of law also. It is like a bridge which connects accounting system to a legal system. So one must keep in mind that there is a difference between traditional audit and forensic audit. Traditional audit mein kya tha? Traditional audit is a compulsory audit under a statute which measures the compliance with reporting standards and provides reasonable assurance on the financial statements. While forensic is done in response to an incident to make a financial investigation where findings can be used in court or to resolve a dispute. it's a personal opinion. Being the CA profession for more than a decade now, I can say that gone are the days of traditional audit. There are so many compliances, so many changes in various laws, disclosure requirements that one need to perform every audit assignment as an investigative one. It's a practical thing which I feel. With the new technologies comes the new method to defraud. So we will also learn about digital forensics and cloud computing, the related risk involves. One more thing at this juncture, it is also important to know that our ICAI is the only institute in the accounting world which has developed a full set of forensic accounting and investigation standards, popularly known as FAIS, FAIS, for its forensic professionals. It provides a good overview of the forensics and the investigations, how to undertake the projects and assignments in these areas, how to conclude the work, and finally, how to report findings to its stakeholders in an organized manner. So I will say that students को जब भी time मिले, they must read all these standards. Friends, in this session, we will learn about the importance of fraud awareness, various concepts, how to be aware of the frauds, how to identify its prevention, collecting of evidence, what all investigative tools are available, all technical things in detail, and it will be deliberated by a very well-known and learned, renowned speaker, CA K. Narayan Rao sir. But before I hand over virtual mic to him, I would take this opportunity to share his brief profile with the audience. He is a commerce graduate, a qualified chartered accountant with more than 35 years of experience, especially in the field of finance, accounts, and administration field. He has worked for more than 14 years in the East African countries. He has qualified post-qualification certificate course from ICAI in forensic accounting and fraud detection. Online certified financial fraud examiner. It's a postgraduate diploma. Then he has also completed a 5-week certificate course on forensic accounting and fraud examination from West Virginia University, USA. He is also an associate member of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiner for the past 6 years. He is well experienced in various fields of finance, audit, accounts, with main focus of audit of banks, statutory corporations, companies. He has developed special interest in this forensic and fraud since 2016 and is contributing extensively by way of his articles on the fraud related topics on LinkedIn and his own website. You may find his videos and PPTs on the various aspects of frauds from his website. He has also authored a book on a brief glimpse on the world of frauds. With this, I once again welcome you, sir. And now I request him to take the session further. Please, sir.
Thank you. You have actually summed up everything. Good morning, students, my young colleagues, and the dear members. And first, I want to thank the institute for giving this opportunity, which I took it as a passion for the last 6 years. But I thought we should. It's a very important concept, as explained by Ashaji just now, and it's a very relevant, and as I show my PPTs, you will understand starting from the basics of what is fraud and various types and extra, and how important in the audit from the audit perspective, and what are our statutory requirements and things like that. So I hope it will be of some value addition to the youngsters, because I always target my audience, the youngsters, because they are the ones who will carry forward the message and the knowledge forward. So it's a good initiative by the institute to conduct these webinars from the students' point of view, and I hope I'll be able to do some justice to this opportunity. And by the way, a happy Diwali to all, and all the best in the coming year, and be free from frauds. Okay, and so can I proceed the presentation of the PPT? Then viewers can resolve their queries or anything, and we can proceed further. Thank you very much. Thanks, one and all. You see, this is coming. I'm giving a bird's eye view on this topic because it is a very huge topic by itself. Okay, so I'll be able to sum up in the given time some aspects of all this financial fraud awareness and auditing. You see, before we go into the thing, we all should understand, and I think I focused more or less on these aspects of what starting from the definition of fraud, why it is important, awareness why it is important, and with specific reference to financial frauds, and our responsibility as auditors in the fraud reporting, and detection prevention, and as various several cases relating to these financial frauds, how they are affected. In the definition is very clear. You see, basically, if one places trust on another, in any case, and if the person who placed the trust is defrauded by the other, it is called the fraudster and the victim. So, in general terms. So, otherwise, from our accounting terminology, it is a false representation of material fact, either misstatement or omission with knowledge that the representation is false with total disregard of the truth. So, it is all basically, it is something that one who is perpetrating the fraud, he knows what he's doing, and other person simply places a trust in him, and then at the end of the day, he is defrauded, as we can see. See, there are two here aspects of the financial fraud from the auditing point of view, and the social media ones, which are all we call it as cyber frauds, which Ashaji just now referred. The thing is more, we are concentrating today on this financial aspect of these things. So, from our accounting point, it is can be a manipulation of books of account, as we all know, is fudging and cooking of the books. Like that, you see, there are various ways in which a fraud is first defined. So, it is just like trusted persons are given the keys to kingdom, leaving the doors open for corrupt or fraudulent behaviors. So, this is a basic definition of fraud, where there is a victim who is affected by the monetarily due to the perpetration of a fraud by the fraudsters. So that is a basic concept of the definition of a fraud. And it is very interesting and relevant to understand this difference of forensic accountant, fraud examiner, and, as we say, auditor, means statutory auditor or internal auditor or bank auditor or whatever. Yeah, even though in practice everything is done by a qualified accountant, like a chartered accountant, there is a significant difference in these things which we should understand. Say, forensic accountant is different in the sense that he may be called upon. He is first of all a qualified accountant. Both the forensic accountant and auditors are qualified professionals, whereas fraud examiner can be a qualified professional or he need not necessarily be a qualified professional. Even though, in general, it is all the three functions are performed by qualified people in practice. Forensic accountant means that the word forensic defines it is what is admissible as evidence in a court of law. That means there is a lot of reliability faced, and is treated as an expert. And he may be not necessarily comes into frauds, he may be called upon for the time of acquisitions, or in the case of any suspicion of fraud or valuations and all this one. A company may ask a forensic accountant to give an insight into the financials and all, and also he may be involved in the fraud detection and all subsequent fraud being discovered. Whereas a fraud examiner, his job starts only after fraud is occurred, to go deep into the aspects to find out through various evidences, interviews and all, to see who committed the fraud, why and where, and all these one. And auditor, as we all know, is in a who is as a statutory auditor or internal auditor or branch auditors, like that one. And so there is it's actually a very pertinent relevant differences between these three, though for all practical purposes everything is done by qualified professionals. Now, for you move further, it's also relevant to understand, you see, fraudsters, there are basically two types: accidental fraudsters and predator fraudsters. As you know, accidental fraudsters means they are first time offenders, as we read, go through subsequently through fraud triangle and all that one. They are not fraudsters from the beginning, but they turn out to be due to the circumstances and all, which we will discuss. Whereas predator fraudsters, as the word predator is reference to these animals, whereas the big animals, they will be waiting up the dark or with a planned thing to catch their prey. Like that one. These here, they are con men from the beginning. They go with a plan, and their basic aim is to defraud, and they are born con people. And always when I say man, I see, I refer to women who are pink collar criminals. Don't think that always fraud means it is only the men who commit. See, there are several frauds that take place committed by the women also, which are called as pink collar criminals. So pink collar criminals means any fraud, something committed by the women. So this is also we should understand that not all are fraudsters from the beginning, but due to circumstances they commit something, and then they turn out to be fraudsters subsequently. As you can see from here, you see all these bunch will come under the various types of frauds. You know, hackers, actually, it's a big subject by itself. There are 14 types of hackers, like red hat, black hat, and all. White hat, red hat, black hat, and that means some are ethical hackers, which they will they will to test the security and systems and all. They do it, and then there are hackers who does a thing for the fun, or some hackers who do with the intention of getting into the systems and all. And so they are all that one. And the impersonators and synthetic identity people means who misrepresent themselves, and behind they hide their real identity. Especially such frauds happen on the social media, and employee frauds. Sorry, employee frauds happen mostly by colluding and for the bribes and all these things. So these are the various phases of fraudsters that we come across when you hear the word fraud. See, basically it is all a mind game. The thing is, everywhere we study these frauds, they always say the fraudster is 1 or 2 steps ahead. If now 4G has, 5G has come, even the fraudster also will work with that 5G speed only. You see, So it's always we should understand the psychology of the fraudsters, which during interviews and all that is during fraud examination, it is very important that the behavior of the individuals to suggest whether a particular person is any possible fraud perpetrator or not. And here is always the big fish eat the small fish. The big fish is the fraudster with all preparation. The small fish is the one who doesn't suspect and get caught. So similarly, it happens in the fraud scenario. Next, this is the most, even though the number of cases are more, the amount may be, say in the case of financial frauds and all, they may be limited, but the losses run into crores and crores of rupees, billions of dollars. Whereas the social media frauds and all, they happen, even the number of cases are so many, people do not even report. It actually said that in India, people only 40% of the people report any fraud in the first place, and 60% do not report. So they, because of the daily use of these Facebook and the Instagrams and other things and all, especially the younger generation and all, they become victims by befriending people and all the things, and who are not their real faces and all, and is a big become a big means the social media frauds committed through social media. So now we said accidental fraudsters and all. This fraud triangle is one of the fundamental study in the case of frauds. This is they can be applied throughout the discussions of frauds anywhere, and I think there are three important aspects when we talk of this fraud triangle. As you can see, the pressures, opportunity, and rationalization. The pressures will means the pressure. A person may be a genuinely normal, is not a fraudster, he has no intention and all that one. But some pressures like financials or emotional, or because of some education or some financial problems or something, or they are due to their habits like gambling or something. So where there is pressure for more money, to get more money and all, and so they resort to, they first start with small the monies, and then when they are not caught, because their intention is to put back the money, but they never put it because it is not discovered, and so like that one, since they continuously need the money for the due to the pressures, they turn out to be fraudsters. And opportunity is another thing. Same in there also. Generally, when a person normal, if they get an opportunity, they do the thing. Suppose if something is lying there on the table, and nobody bothers about it, that item for some time, slowly that moves out of the table, and the people may just take it, to give a simple example. So like that one, everywhere when there is an opportunity, suppose only one person is responsible for everything and the management trusts him to, fully, because he has been working so long, he or she, and with all the starting from the maintaining books of account till controlling people and all, they have an opportunity to commit fraud because of lack of controls. And rationalization. This is rationalization is simply justifying the action of fraud. Just an employee may think that he is working so hard and all, but he gets only his regular salary, to give an example, whereas the management are taking the bigger profits and enjoying and all at one, he will start stealing. So he just rationalizes. So that is that attitude. They commit frauds. So this is always a very important concept that one should keep in mind of a fraud triangle. Whenever you talk of fraud triangle should come to the mind. So this pressure, opportunity, rationalization, or attitude. So these play a vital role in all types of frauds, basically. Now we should understand also why people commit frauds. See, as we have basically dealt with in the fraud triangle and in the cases, see, there it is given like some find it irresistible doing simply cheat as others are not watching, and some cheat the thrill of it, just like that. And so, if these are all the general psychology of the people, and basically greed. Everywhere there is a greed for money. The whole thing is, if somebody says, I'm paying you 2% interest, people will simply, without even thinking 2% per month, 24%, they don't even think whether it is possible or not, but give these monies for investment. And we see so many cases where people invest and they never get back their money and forget about neither the interest nor the principal. Because that is all for greed for money. And big frauds also, people do not stop at a point of time till they are caught. So this greed plays a very big role for the commission of this all these frauds. And why do we need to be aware of all these fraud concepts and all this one? Because they bring along with them catastrophic losses. See, as you can see, the modern technologies and all not only attracted fraudsters and criminals, but misuse the technology for financial benefits. And during COVID time, there are several frauds where the fraudsters took advantage of the situation, and especially in US and all, where there are the health front and the medical benefits front are, and the supply of COVID, I mean the related items and all that one taking. When see there are several frauds perpetrated during the COVID-19 time also. So all this taking advantage of the situation, causing several millions of dollars of losses. So now, as I earlier said, this financial frauds and cyber frauds and all. This normally we refer the cyber frauds and all to social media and all this one which we see day in and out. And the financial frauds are all we normally refer to the corporate frauds and all, like following up the broadly the various categories of frauds, like employee frauds, there is frauds at workplace, as you said, by bribing or by stealing the monies or the any assets of the company and all this one. And then of course bank frauds. We know very well that all the big frauds that are perpetrated in India relating to the banks, the advances, the money is advanced are misused or diverted, or and even the money laundering and all is affected, and ultimately they end up in the NPS. And we see almost every big fraud in India is perpetrated out of bank funds. And so they are very huge. And similarly, the insurance frauds relating to health, vehicles fire, these are actually relatively less in a Indian context, but we find more of these abroad, mainly US. So cyber crimes means it is all committed through, as Ashaji has told, no, through emails that are not true emails. You should never respond to an email attachment, opening of an attachment of those things and all, because unless you are sure of the origin of the email, and you should not disclose your details of phone, as you daily we get several phone calls of these marketing phone calls, or so many other calls like offering of credit or credit cards or things like that one. And the ATM. Everywhere they say do not share your PIN, your CV and all these ones. So these are all, but daily they happen despite a lot of efforts by government also in various modes, telling the public. Still people do not pay much attention, and many lose their monies to these cyber crimes. And we know security frauds is stock market manipulation, insider trading, and all. The biggest stock market thing was in 1992 by Farshad Mehta. Many of us know of his crores of rupees, how he very intelligently managed through the banks and invested and lost. Okay, like that one. And money laundering. Money laundering is one of the main aspects of these corporate frauds and all, where the monies are diverted, or the black money, the one that is not accounted for, is also diverted through shell companies. Shell companies means there's nothing in, and they are floated abroad in tax havens, and so that is rampant nowadays. And this only is again diverted towards terror financing and all this one that we keep hearing. So like that one, these are all the various financial and cyber frauds that are became order of the day. There's not a day we don't see a fraud in the news or newsprint. So now coming back to our this ACFP financial statement frauds. See, again, here we have to understand what is a financial statements fraud, and the cost of financial statement frauds, and why these are committed, the trends, and the red flags. So red flag, see, always there are a lot of red flags that we come across, but sometimes they are ignored or not noticed, and so the frauds are perpetrated. Red flag means it's like alerts or suspicious transactions and all those things, and there are different schemes of perpetrating the frauds, and subsequently, the detection. There are several modes of detection where we use, once the fraud is detected, to go deep into it and to try to identify the persons who have committed the thing. And all this comes through financial statement analysis, interviews, and other fraud detection techniques. So like that, you see, we come to the importance of fraud awareness in auditing, because fraud detection is an important part of the audit process, because it helps to ensure the accuracy of financial statements. So even though subsequently we'll be telling the age-old concept of auditor is a watchdog but not a bloodhound. I studied it even during my BCom days 40 years back. the same thing. You see, it doesn't apply as such. It's not black or white. It is not that either is a watchdog or a bloodhound. You should be nowadays. You should be, because of this fraud aspects that are become so common. You should adopt a gray area. I mean, they take a gray, but he cannot say that I am not responsible. You are not, actually not directly responsible, but still, that doesn't mean that we don't pay attention towards these fraud and the errors and all that may look like. And so you have to go. Anything that is suspicious, one has to go through deeply into it. That's so the simple fact of that age-old definition, in my opinion, doesn't hold good in the present context. So further, the importance is, see, it ensures accuracy of financial statements and identify potential instances of fraud, and if there is anything suspicious, we have to go deep and report accordingly. So, and so nowadays the financial frauds are so much they're increasing that the importance of the subject has gained very much in the attention, and the artist's responsibility also. See, artists play gatekeeper's role. See, well, for a good quality financial reporting and thing, he has to consider as a responsibility to consider fraud. That means they have to obtain reasonable assurance and they are free from material misstatements. And mistake is an error or a fraud. So that's where he has to check whether something is found that is doesn't look all right. You have to see whether it is simply a accounting error or something that is committed deliberately. Okay, like that, it is not just limited responsibility, but one has to be more alert towards the distinction. You see, as you say, you should be like a Sherlock Holmes. I think many of you are aware of. And it is the question of watchdog and bloodhound. He has to be a combination of both in the reality, okay, and has to keep a keen eye on towards any things. So now, why he has to focus on all this one is because of this. There are several types of fraud that we may come across these during the audits. Say, starting from say fraudulent financial reporting, misappropriation of assets, misappropriation of goods, defalcation of cash. See, these are all falsification, forgery, misrepresentation. So unless in the audit we do it in a very meticulous way, and anything that is suspicious is gone deep, and it should be thoroughly investigated, because sometimes what is a simple error, something maybe only tip of the iceberg, and so one has to see whether the extent of those things. So as per our ICM in the frauds and auditor, it clearly was specified in an article. With clarity, the same thing what I have discussed, like definition of fraud, types of fraud and errors, detection of fraud risk factors, then is misappropriation of responsibility of fraud. So these are all, it's a huge subject by itself, And so, as auditor, while auditing, it is not doing mechanically, but we don't look like a detective, but still, we have to exercise due care while going through. See, as I earlier said, there is no the errors and fraud. You see, we have to distinguish between these two. Misstatement, the financial statement can arise from either fraud or error. So that has to be, whenever we come across anything, we have to first establish that this fact. Okay? Whether it is any involuntary statement, occurred in financial statements, or omissions, these things. So sometimes what may look like an error may turn out to be something done uh, like with intention to cover up something. So for all this one, auditor has to exercise professional skepticism in audits. See, it is to auditor has to think, test, question, confirm the assertion. That means tomorrow, if he is called upon to give evidence, and subsequently, you see, today we sign up the balance sheet. That is not the end of it, because subsequently, if any fraud is found and it dates back, and everybody is called upon for questioning of the things. So, as auditors, we should be able to justify our our that we have done and exercise due care, and by proper evidence. Keeping all the evidence means not necessarily only the working papers. Nowadays, even digital has become digital evidence is highly important, because everything is nowadays on technology driven. So the data and the systems and all should be preserved, and there's a lot of ways. It is not that even data is erased. There are softwares where the data can be retrieved. So that is something technical. We have to, where need be, we have to take technical help in the data retrieving and all. And we have to prove that we took all the reasonable care in the discharge of our duties, and support ourselves that there is adequate evidence to make sure that the reasonable care is taken. And so, like, see, like, it means like this one: questioning mind, search of knowledge, suspending judgment, interpersonal understanding, self-confidence, and all. Okay, there are things. So, the basically means the auditor should be in a position to support himself with all the things, and you cannot say I'm only a watchdog and not a bloodhound. But you should have you should keep an alert mind, and keep all the evidences. Yeah, and any suspicious transactions or something, they should be gone deep through interviews or collection of more evidence, and support his conclusions. So we talk of our fraud risk assessments also. So addressing a business vulnerability means, first of all, you have to see the extent of what are any internal controls are there or not, whether they are effective or not. And that is a thing. Is having policies and procedures like in banks and all is of no use if they are not put to use. See, otherwise, why bank frauds and all are happening? There is something amiss. See, most of the all these frauds that are happening with several crores of rupees just going out of them, with the 10 banks, 20 banks involved as a consortium financing. Why is it happening? Yeah, because of could be various things. There may be some could be hand and glove or thing and all, because if having laid down the policies, procedures, and all this one, still how money is slipping by. There is some gap in this one. No, it is not that simply money disappears, So it is a question of not having a policy or something in the writings. Whether how far they're implemented or they're not implemented, I always question myself why these bank audits are happening. I mean, if everything is fine. And the companies also having an internal audit, or in banks also having concurrent audits. Even I myself personally have seen in concurrent audit, the bank managers and all at their level, they don't have time to look into even the daily transactions and even to their exceptional reports and all. They don't have time. To look into it, because first they are busy giving loans, afterwards they are busy recovering the loans. And secondly, big loans and all, they are out of their hands. And so there are so many other practical issues are there, as we see in those bank audits and the concurrent audit. We learn a lot for their problems. They're just at the branch level, they're simply helpless, in my opinion. So what I'm saying is, okay, not only also we have to be very careful, and without any exception, we should thoroughly report the abnormalities noticed and protect ourselves. And you see, we have this National Financial Reporting Authority. You see, these auditors, actually, these people when I said audit is a watchdog and not a bloodhound is a serious misconception. And it is true. I mean, it is not either that or this. It has to be a combination of both. And be more watchful and all. And along with the Companies Act and SCA 240 and all this one, it is very clearly they are emphasizing the role of auditors in this frauds and reporting and all, because when anything happens, all these issues will come to light. Whether the auditor exercised the due care and or not. And as we all know, Companies Act under various sections, deals with this aspect, starting from the definition of fraud, omission, concealment, abuse, version of Section 447. So under various powers and duties of auditors and various sections, they clearly laid down the responsibilities of the auditors, and then how they are dealt with if there is a false statement and all this one. So one as students and while doing audits and all that one should not do mechanically, but understand the statutory and other things laid down, and then only you can focus more while doing audit on various aspects. And this is the well-established one of CS standards on auditing. It has got a very wide scope. It is responsibility to consider laws and regulations performing an audit of financial statements, not compliance with specific laws, and under various sections. So it starts from planning an audit of financial statements, evidence. Evidence is very, very important. The most important concept also of these frauds is all evidence. Courts do not go by anything accept solid evidence. Tomorrow, the auditor is called upon to give whether forensic auditor or statutory auditor or the CFO or whatever, he should have adequate evidence to prove that is courts agree with it. That can be proved in a court of law. See, without adequate evidence, the case will not stand. It is very thing, and so that's why all types of evidences, digital evidences, everything should be done. And now there are various ways like of data storage. Instantly, I can mention about cloud. See, cloud storage is something that a company shares with the with it's a question of space sharing there, and so it can be anywhere, even outside India and all also managed by somebody. So sometimes it becomes difficult to get evidence where the data and all are in the cloud, where they are stored, uh, and also digital evidence. Also, one should take the help of an expert in retrieving the data, because when I was doing FAFD, they clearly explained and demonstrated how an empty flash drive, that is, we think that we have deleted everything, through a software, it can be totally retrieved back. Okay, that is called digital evidences can be retrieved. Same thing from the systems and all. In fact, they advise, if anything, never, and especially the mobile phones, anything. Then I say, just because we have put company settings or we have erased or deleted, it is still the digital footprints will be there, and it can be retrieved and through by the experts in the field. So the only way is not by throwing or deleting. Actually, the advice you should run they should be run over to make them into pieces. Then only the evidence and the data in that disappears. So that is how many of the frauds or other cybercrimes and all nowadays they're able to catch the perpetrators through this digital evidence, through these things, by retrieving the data, even deleted data and all. So the evidence is an audit of our financial statements also is equally highly important. In support, that's the only way an auditor can support his work and make sure that he took adequate and reasonable care in the performance of his duties. Okay, so there's a lot explained in that responsibility, the prevention and detection, and actually our institute has come out with a 40 pages of fraud and responsibilities of the auditors. It is a huge topic by itself that all the youngsters should be aware of in the performance of company audits or bank audits and all, because the thing is, everything looks fine. The problem comes only when subsequently any fraud is detected, and so even if it involves earlier years, you will be called upon to, and we should be in a position to substantiate our work that was done with all reasonable care, and we have exercised professional skepticism, and we have adequate evidence to save ourselves. So this is all his topic, and very clearly demonstrated the importance and the responsibility of the auditors, and also in the prevention and detection of fraud rests with both those charged with the governance of the company management. We cannot always shift the blame to the management. if we as auditors, if we cannot demonstrate that we have taken reasonable care in and satisfied and have the evidence with us. Even the auditors are taken to task as we and quite a few cases, financial scams and frauds. The auditors are also are the concerned partner of the audit firm are also taken to task because it was not established negligence or not taking due care in the performance of the duties. So it is an exhaustive standard, and then it covered all aspects. Okay, everything you cannot escape unless you can prove that we have done adequate took adequate evidence and did the work without any this on the which is reasonable, and we should establish in a court. See, court doesn't believe in anything except satisfactory evidence. That is one thing one has to keep in mind. Okay, so if your courts are not happy with the evidence, then we have to they have to face the punishment. So that's what reasonable certification. Okay, that's not as way nobody guarantees material misstatements and all that one arising from fraud or errors, but that doesn't mean that we have to show the evidence that we made sure that in the normal course of business conducting an audit, we took all the reasonable care and we have performed all the proper tests, everything, and still and so still frauds can be there. I mean, they are done so intelligently that in the limited period of time that we do audits and all, especially the bank audits and the bank branch audits, where hardly there is time. End up doing 3, 4, 5 bank audits in a span of maximum week or 10 days. We know what is the extent of checks and all we can do. So there is a time constraint and all that one, but that is not an excuse unless we can substantiate that we took all these reasonable care in doing the audits. So it all depends on the planning and assumption of the risks, considering what is the status of the controls, internal controls are there or not, internal audit department is there, and whether there is effective internal audit. You see, my own case, I've been to an internal audit for a big corporation. The thing is, without mentioning the name, for 2-3 years we are giving the reports with certain mistakes or certain queries and all. They are never answered, and in some cases they just want a report. That's all. So yeah, so we have to see how effective is that internal audit report also, and whether action is taken, and whether the mistakes or the corrections pointed out or doubts pointed out are cleared or not is also done. Even in concurrent audits also, when a report is submitted, it's very rarely we get any direct communication from the banks. When you ask with the branch, they say, no, that is dealt by our inspection departments and all. No, their queries are resolved. Something they tell. See, there is some fault in the whole system also. So as long as we do our job with due diligence and taking care, it's fine. But why they keep occurring is actually is a big issue because there's always a loophole somewhere that is allowing these bank frauds and all the things to occur despite all the policies, procedures, and these concurrent audits and all these things. So everywhere our responsibility we have to discharge. Okay, understanding what is there and all, and prove ourselves with the evidence. So, like as I said, it applies to everywhere, whether it is a statutory audit or internal audit, or a bank branch audit or concurrent audits, or we do insurance audits also in public sector, everywhere. We have to discharge our duties the proper way, collect the evidence, support ourselves, anything suspicious activity or something we should probe, and anything fraud or anything it should be immediately reported. Mhm. And these things. So everywhere in this study of frauds, red flags, everybody knows what is a red flag. I mean, there's a warning signals everywhere. If nothing happens, just as they say, there is no smoke without fire. Okay, so everywhere there will be some red flags. If you don't see that red flag, you miss the we miss the point. Okay, so everywhere one has to understand and make sure during the course of the audit these whether there is any red flag thing is so as you can see here, some examples like missing documents, and that we have to make sure how it missed or something, or it is deliberately misplaced or something, and compliance rounded out, duplicate payments. You see, these are only a few accounting aspects where examples of red flags where one has to go deeper and investigate these things much more with like a bloodhound. Then you have to become a bloodhound once you suspect something. Okay. So these are all basic examples of signals. As you can see, that should be addressed the moment they are noticed. Okay, like inventory shortages, excessive return. See, there's no detail. All depends from company to company and various scenarios, whether it is banks or something. I mean, it's very detailed and I think so it cannot be limited to some examples. But the thing is, one has to, depending upon the particular circumstance, I have to be very careful, pay attention to the red flags, and as I already repeatedly said, evidence is the most important, from whether it be fraud examiner or forensic accountant or even auditor, that has to can stand as proof in a court of law. Okay, the law will decide merits of the case only depending upon what evidence we presented regarding our work. If anything fraud is suspected. And so then the earlier, as I said, evidence means, it can be, say, not like only keeping some working papers and all in the like the initial things. This is so nowadays with the computerized countings and all, and storage of data and cloud computing and all. You see, actually, they say that one should learn. The future is going to be like quantum. It is like machine learning artificial intelligence, quantum computing. See, we are talking about it's all the present age is developing like that one. It's a quantum computing, and they're all highly technical, and one should have an idea about them, and then accordingly, the even auditing and online, and then this getting evidence sometimes becomes difficult, and so you have to need to take technical. It is not like earlier days of collecting all physical paper and all, and then making a big working papers book like we used to do it earlier. Here it is a different scenario, and one needs to go deep, and one has to learn much more like computer-aided techniques like cat and all are there, and then so it's much going much beyond like you know uh, okay. So these are all the normal things which you think, bank statements, invoices, ledgers. Those are all earlier type of things which we keep on the working papers and all. So now coming to computer logs, digital footprints, they are the bit complicated and need more technical and specialized knowledge, which not necessarily all auditors possess. But one should take the help of an expert in the fields to gather such evidence where there is a need for the same to prove your point. So, as I already told you, see, in the modern day fraud detection, they have gone much beyond the paperwork. It's all computer techniques, digital forensics, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So, they are highly technical things, and quantum computing is still in the process, and artificial intelligence, and also, as I told, the storage of data on the cloud and all. So everything has become much more technical, and one has to update with all these things rather than the traditional way of only looking into the papers. Okay, so digital forensics is very, very important in the present day context of modern technology, and the way the work is done, and the accounts are maintained and stored. Yeah, it's called digital forensics or computer forensics or computer science. As already told, forensic word comes means which is evidence that is allowed in a court of law to support our work. Okay, and these cyber crimes and all, 80%, as I already told you, the substantial number of cases more in cyber crimes, whereas the 20% constitute the bigger chunk of bank scams and frauds. So everywhere the point is here, the evidence can be obtained only through digital forensics. Okay, one should have a knowledge in that, or one should take the help of an expert in retrieving the data of the for correlating and then analyzing to prove our point. So in these things, fraud study, this cloud computing is one thing that is become a very common thing, especially with the multinationals and all that, where the spread over branches and all this throughout the world, and the data is stored the cloud providers, and where you share the space. So that is where, in the auditing point of view, the gathering of some evidence, data for evidence and all becomes difficult, because It all depends on the rules and regulations and laws of a specific country where on the cloud the data is stored. So that's where this remote storage issues will sometimes bring problems in gathering the data uh, stored on a cloud computer. That is pros and cons of this cloud computing. The thing is that is on the can be huge data can be stored there and it can be viewed anywhere in the world and accessible, especially with the branches across the world. So these are the shortfalls, as I already said. The evidence which is most important to the court to gather that one is a bit difficult because it is spread over the storage space maybe in some another abroad, and everything depends on the laws of the country. In this, okay, now incidentally, it is also relevant to touch upon these whistleblowers. Maybe many of you are aware what it means. So many frauds, most of the frauds are discovered uh, through somebody blowing it up for one reason or other. Okay, the big frauds like Enron, or there's a huge $70 billion Ponzi scheme of Madoff. I didn't show you. Um, who was given 150 years prison sentence. So all these have come out because of also whistleblowers who suspected something. Whistleblower means when somebody suspects that something is going amiss. It can be anybody. It can be internal or external. Yeah, I see in a company, a person may notice some suspicious way of by his colleague. Okay, that he can bring to the management, or he may find something about the management itself. The thing is, they should take it to the above people, or where necessary to the statutory authorities. The thing is, if the management are doing, they'll suppress him. There are cases where people are arrested. The whistleblowers are arrested or they are removed from the jobs, and because they found what the management are doing. So the thing is, in abroad, it is there are more policies, strong policies of protection of these whistleblowers. Means who bring out that something is wrong in the company, something the management are doing wrong, and they find there's a lot of cooking of books or fudging of books and manipulation of the transactions. So it's a very important role. These whistleblowers who are true and honest people, they can be even insiders or outsiders. Sometimes people who dealt with the business with a company, they may come to know. For example, in the case of tendering and all, person who doesn't get, he may find that there is some hand and blow that has happened, or some bribe has happened, or they showed favoritism to somebody, and things like that one. So the role of whistleblowers is one of the very important aspects that has brought out many big scams and frauds to light. By further investigation and all, they are proved, and the culprits are brought to the book. Now, our study and fall that one, we can see here. I think many of you this is 1992 is Harshad Mehta scam starting. Then we have everybody knows is Nirav Modi and Choksi in the Punjab National Bank scam, and we know Satcham scam, fudging of books, and Enron is the biggest financial scam in where the stocks rules and the stringent accounting policies and are started to come. Hmm. Then, of course, there's a political thing. The less said, the better to the scam. Hmm. Then, of course, Vijay Mallya, Kingfisher, 9,000 crores is unfortunately, even though they are recovering monies and all, still the culprits are uh, much away from India. Hmm. And similarly, there's a WorldCom, and this is a recent one, Amrapali, a real estate scam, and Madoff is a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme means uh, you borrow, you take money, and you for investments and all that one, and give all wrong data and promise high returns and slowly build up the thing that ultimately you borrow money from somebody and they pay interest to another from that money, like the one that's called the Ponzi scheme, and ultimately they all burst when things don't work out. And the biggest ever is this 50 to 60 billion dollars Bernie L. Madoff. For 20 years, he has done that Ponzi scheme, and ultimately a stage has come where his own sons have reported the matter because even they were not aware of the scam that he was doing, and he was given 150 years imprisonment. The point is, there also it came out because of a whistleblower who suspected something is wrong, and after investigation has put that out. Now coming back, I'm quite sure many are aware of the Sorcerer Meta scandal that started in 1992. This is a stock market scam, okay, and he convinced the banks in parting monies, and then invested right left in the stock exchanges and all that one by artificially pushing up the rates of the stocks. Yes, called the big bull in those days, and ultimately everything has fallen apart, and the banks and all were taken to task. And this latest is 2016 onwards, the Leisure Valley scam, cheating the middle and other middle class people and all of their savings. This very frequently we come across these real estate builders where they take the money is diversion of funds. It's actually this has come out the base of forensic audit. The courts have appointed a forensic auditor to go deep into this one. After getting the monies, they did not discharge their promises, and the monies got diverted, and till finally the fraud is out. This is a very well-known stuff of fudging of books and all. It is the biggest corporate fraud and the falsification of accounts and inflating the prices and all this one. And the Price Waterhouse acting auditor of the company during that time. So some of them were taken to task who are involved in the scam because everybody knows what is happening down there, falsification of accounts and diversion of the funds. So now mostly all these frauds, what will happen? They take money from the banks and they do not invest the purpose for which they are taken, and they are put into diversified projects, besides personal luxuries, and ultimately the bubble will burst. So it's a matter of time. It may take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, but ultimately the bubble will burst. So that's how these things will happen. And so that's where, while auditing all big advances and all, one has to exercise extreme care and go to the roots to see that the funds are properly utilized for the purpose for which they are taken to the then try to prove that we have done our reasonable care in the performance of our duties. So this is another world scandal that is very famous. It is also done by the management by inflating earnings. See, they are into multiple these thing businesses, and ultimately they have to hide the losses, and they resort to the accounting fudgings. And earlier, actually, it was this Arthur Anderson. Earlier, it was Big Five, but with this one, that Arthur Anderson was accused, and then they are completely out of the business subsequent to this one. And everybody knows about this one for 7 years. Yeah, some internal auditor was taken to task for uh, for auditing the systems and practices, reporting deficiencies. The audit journal audit office failed to detect any frauds. And so also ICA has given some notice to all statutory auditors of PNB's branch. We have 13,000 crores is thing, but of course still he is not he's still in UK, and even though they are realizing some assets and all, it's also a financial scam involving the misuse of funds. Enron is as I told, is the biggest by which this Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 has come. It has started sweeping auditing and financial regulations for public companies, because same thing, accounting loopholes to hide billions of dollars of debt. Auditors are Arthur Anderson, even issuing unqualified opinions, because that's only they have both joined hands and inflated the window dressing happened, and ultimately the fraud has to come out. And with that, a lot of changes and have come in the auditing standards. And so next, we all know about the Kingfisher scam. Say of UB Group. There's 17 banks, and they accused of fraud of money laundering cases in the country. The thing is, the thing is here also, it is a total diversion of funds, and whatever it is, the culprit has escaped, and even though it is proved that there is a scam, and he is totally responsible for the misuse of this money. This is another thing out of come up to 2020. Whistleblower has brought it out, this 12,000 crore fraud. 27 employees used by their family as Binami structure to move, park, and siphon off funds. So this has come out due to the whistleblower bringing out the thing. And also there is this ABG shipyard scam, which is also a 22,000 crore fraud. And all these are, some of them are still under investigation, and the culprits are to be brought to the book. As I was saying, this is the biggest Ponzi scheme that almost went for 20 years, I think. Okay, with a 60 billion thing cheating of personal gains and for his luxurious living by giving all falsified statements to the investors, and ultimately, yeah, his own people have brought is when he was unable to pay anymore, it was come out, and he pleaded guilty without a trial and sentenced to 150 years. Uh, Actually, 2 years back, 1 year, I think only last year, actually, he, he was deceased. And so, you see, yeah, as you can see, these all they are rampant, and financial products occupy a very pivotal role nowadays, especially mostly dealing with bank advances. Mm. And we see several social media and frauds also that are the cyber frauds. That is due to purely people's negligence and not paying attention to the repeated warnings for if you say do not do the following, they do the same things and then lose money. Mm. And they may report or they may not report. Okay, that's most of these cyber crimes is during the younger generation or the senior citizens are affected by these cyber frauds and cyber crimes. And so, the from the auditor's perspective, we have to be extremely, we have to get the knowledge of the present day way of gathering evidence and justifying our position as an expert, and be we should have evidence in a court of law, as I already said, to prove or that we are the auditor exercise given reasonable care. So you have to go beyond the working papers and keep all the other evidences and the thing. So actually, yeah, I have summed up the huge subject briefly. Ashaji, how do we proceed further? Any more? I have more or less.
Sir, can we discuss something more on cloud computing and digital forensic, as these are the two latest things which the practical things, like in case of cloud computing, what are the risks involved, its main advantage, like as you have discussed in your PPT also, but somehow in detail if we can.
Yeah, cloud computing is a highly technical area. I mean, basically, I think, and it is mainly done by some very big multinationals, companies, maybe, or very big companies where they have branches spread out throughout. Not everybody, stores their data on cloud computing, unless it's a global business where everybody can access the data. That is the whole idea. No? So that is the advantage pro of that one from the management point of view. But from the auditor's angle, it becomes very difficult to get evidence if the data is not accessible in the country. Because to get access data of the cloud computing operators, if they operate from another abroad country, it depends on the laws of that country, and to part with the data and all that one, because that is a problem that auditor faces in obtaining the evidence, and he has to he has to convince with whatever data that is available. Okay, and the digital forensics is also highly technical aspect in this sense. As I told you, no data is erased from any of the systems or anywhere, starting from your flash drive to mobile phones to your laptop to your storage or anywhere, especially the flash drives and laptops and the systems where the data, somebody who has perpetrated something might have deleted or something. But still, through digital forensics, there are some even during my in the FFD also they have shown some demonstrated some demo sites, and where the we can use that software. I mean, to retrieve a data even if your flash drive is empty. See, because it is the data is always there as a digital footprints that it is told. So that is always there even last 1, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever data that was there but emptied can be retrieved. So from evidence point of view, where there's something we are investigating, and a lot of these flash drives or systems are there. We can only we have to take the help of the experts in the field to retrieve that data. So digital forensics entirely deals with that aspect, which the retrieval of data that is lost to to be very precise about that one. So both these see, cloud computing, digital forensics, and this what you call as I told you, this artificial intelligence, quantum computing techniques, and also these are all the upcoming and very highly technical aspects, which auditors also have to we also have to understand that one to apply them uh, where there is a need for it in the particular audit scenarios. So depending on the particular client that we are working. So they are now the advanced study into the in this audit evidence respect.
Sir, anything specific which one should take care of or should consider before subscribing for any of the provider for this cloud computing thing? Like, because server is, most of the cases server is not in India.
I know, because that one, I don't know exact what is happened, because we accept we have never practically done that one, but we have to it is like buying a storage space. So we have to only through those people who maintain the cloud computing, and through one has to we have to secure one space for our data storage, and so there's no multiple corporations data, and that's why the access for evidence by a person like auditor is difficult, because they do not give, especially they are abroad, they do not give access. So, to be more technical and all, I mean, it's a technical thing, and except explaining to you in general, I cannot go into the more detail of that one.
Sir, one more thing. If a person, like already students are in CA profession, if they want to be an expert fraud examiner or investigator, how they should proceed and what are the options available with them in addition to this CA course?
The thing is,
Sir, your voice is not coming.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now, yes.
The thing is, see, for them, see, actually in our CA curriculum, to tell you, there is no big emphasis on this one. Am I right?
Absolutely.
See, in our CF inter-level or final, there's no big emphasis on this one except as a post-qualification. Am I right?
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, and actually even by that itself also they gain some knowledge. Okay, because it's as you know, it is a 15-day program. Okay, so it all depends on how much interest you show to learn otherwise. So for a person to be here means one should actually should have more technical knowledge with respect to systems and all, and they should be working with a forensic auditor. That's the only way. I mean, because there are some faculty who came to for us. They said they do only these forensic investigations, no taxation, no normal auditing, nothing. Okay, they are just specialists in that. They said, I never seen a tax law, tax book. Okay, my thing is only to concentrate on this one. So that is possible. Unfortunately, even in small cities like like our place, Visakhapatnam, I mean, we don't find any. I mean, they are all in big cities, and mainly this is work also is such work is also entrusted to only to the big four. You know.
Yes.
Always you see there is a appointment of a forensic auditor by any statutory authority. It will be only either PWGC or another. Okay, and so there may be some cases in a corporate level frauds and all, but that is confined to only those professionals who totally focus only on that subject. But to have a knowledge, definitely they have to do. They can do this post qualification, and be more knowledgeable about this technically in the computer aspects. I think I didn't do, but CAT, computer aided techniques, and all. I think they're extensively is doing that this DISA and these things. They are to some extent helpful, but it is more if somebody, as you said, a student would like to get into this one. Actually, directly also some people did ask me, thinking that I have been that practice. I said it is not like that. To get into the field means one has to directly find out who are doing this practice, and they have to work under them. Because by doing our otherwise because it's a specialized field. Okay, because there the techniques that you employ and all these things and all, we should have specialized knowledge, and as such the scope is very limited for people to get into the practical aspect of it, unless they show the special interest and then try to get such clients.
Okay, so let me ask one more question. Like, as we all know that most of the investigative tools and the softwares are quite costly affair. But are there any such tools or softwares available which can be used by our students are attending, so they can use in their articleship training when they are going for any audit or anything, which is normally available on Google or something, or at a reasonable cost, not at very high, which only big force can afford?
No. Actually, as you said, yeah, they are very, very highly expensive. Also, to get license and to do to practically you
Yes.
own them and use them. Those things, it is not.
Like Idea and Orange, these are all very
I
costly
know.
affair.
Yeah, there are. That's what we are told in
Yes.
and all that one.
Mm.
Otherwise, I think all the youngsters nowadays they are very familiar with this Excel. I think Excel is an excellent thing. I mean, and also coding. If somebody, I mean, coding, computer coding also through people can extract data and everything. You know, I never gone into that depth, but nowadays that is also very basic for them to. There are several ways in which to learn basic coding. Through that retrieval for relevant data, especially in the bank audits and all, to correlate data from various files and all. I think that is the Excel and this and some computer knowledge is definitely some more than the basic computer knowledge is needed.
Yes.
But the thing is, most of the students they during articles they don't have time. Afterwards, till they finish, they don't have time, unfortunately. And
Right.
so they do not focus this thing. Everything the focus comes only after completing. But after completing means again this is something you have to separately we have to concentrate and do this one and also see the scope of work. See, yes, unless somebody works for somebody who is already there, uh, the scope of work is also limited. You see, how many forensic audits are there? How many people are getting them? And secondly, mostly even if a fraud or something is discovered, only they may employ another external auditor or something to dig deep or something. And if they are management related and all, some statutory authorities have to appoint us. So it is to be true, at least in our country, it has a limited scope practically, unless you are the big four.
Basically, what I have observed is in day-to-day practice also, like if any of the student is going for an audit, they are at the primary place of the client where they have access to much more things than the person who is actually signing the report. So they are one of the most important and integral part, and they have to do their work efficiently. And my opinion is that they have to, like our SA 240 also says, professional skepticism.
Yes.
You have to check the things, keeping in mind that the material misstatement of fraud may happen.
Yes.
So that is the main thing which our students must take care of. Like as you discussed,
it is not black or white. It is not
yes,
that you
there is
are
a gray
down
also.
or watch out, but you have to be gray. You have to be balance it.
Absolutely.
And not that you look at everything suspiciously, or you say, I'm doing my work perfectly, I need not go into that.
No, that can't be done.
Yeah, I think somebody should think, and it all depends upon how the students are trained, basically.
Yes. Like in audit, along with the red flags, we have yellow flags and green flags also. There is a terminology, too good to be true.
I know. Where you get it, that is where you get the suspicion, and that may turn out to be a red flag.
So students must take care of these things also. Like
exactly.
If everything is perfect, then there must be something which is fishy. And
not necessarily everything is perfect, but at least at the same time, we should try to bring out. Always there will be something if you are really keenly focus ourselves. I do not agree that everything is perfect everywhere.
Yes.
In a very few cases that may apply, but majority of cases, everything will not be there. You will, when the students who are training, under training and going, they should really show interest and then bring out the points. How that dealt with is between the principal and the management. At least they should have that keenness. So that is something nobody can put in. One has to show interest.
Yes, absolutely.
If today I showed interest in learning this one, it is of my interest.
Yes. If we say a student is going for an audit to a client, so one of the simplest thing, like if they are auditing the purchase,
yes,
they must check the vendor approval process, because every company has a process to approve a vendor, and only then they purchase things from them.
Exactly.
Then you can check your purchase order, what purchase order is given to them and what goods are actually received. Then nowadays everything is online. You can check GST e-way bill, whether it is there. E-way bill, you have the vehicle number. From vehicle number, you can check on the Vahan website whether it is actually a goods transport or a simple like Chara Gotala, it was on the scooter and all. You can get the market overview of the same product, then payment timelines you can check. You can check your suppliers' GST return filings, whether they are on time or not. These are one of the simple thing and the practical which one must do while they are doing the audit.
It is more possible to focus on all these much more in the case of an internal audit, because they're continuously, are more regular intervals going and all, and follow it up. Whereas when it comes back to statutory audits, they don't have even time to be so specific.
But sir, these have to be done, whether it is a statutory or an internal.
I know. It has to be done. I'm agreeing on that. What I'm saying in practical, you see, that is what you are saying is
absolutely
clear.
Agree with you.
But when it comes to practice, you see, internal audit means you are doing regularly, mostly quarterly and all, 4 times or something and all.
That is where students need to be trained. You can also can't take statutory audit just a 2 days assignment. That we need to train our students.
It all also depends on the principal of the students regarding these matters, and also students also should show their own interest in learning these extra things.
Yes.
Not necessary that I wait till I finish my CA. Nobody stops you from learning some of these skills and these things even much before that one. Because our post qualification is a separate thing, but one will gain knowledge and actual implementation only in practice. As you first you said, how do we get into it? Means then we have to find somebody who is specializing only this. He will not touch normal auditing. He will not touch taxation.
Yes, absolutely.
They will do only forensic auditing or fraud examination.
Yes, that's true. So, but we can.
India right now, as I see it, that is a scenario. There's nothing like. And unfortunately, there is only the big four who get all these assignments.
What we can suggest to our budding CAs, upcoming future torch bearers, do your work properly.
Exactly.
And take each assignment. Like you are doing tax audit, right? If it is of a private limited company, then okay, the balance sheet is audited by either either your firm or some other firm. Then you are just doing 3CD. But if it is not a company, then you are actually certifying the figures of 3CD. Yes. So you must take care of these things. Small little things like there was a latest case of PNB where the currency was soiled, and it was found in the audit by the RBI.
Yes.
And why so? If the branch is under internal audit, then the concurrent auditor is supposed to audit the cash, and if they have done their work properly, then they must have find out that these notes are not countable. And after after that 7-8 months they are saying it because of the water logging due to rain in the area, and all the notes got soiled. So these are the things, if we are not verifying, or if the branch is not verifying or not allowing you to verify the cash, then there is a red flag. Then it is a red flag.
Yes.
Audit red flag is there. A simple thing.
I know. It all depends on they should everything we cannot spoon feed, but they should
yes,
show
absolutely. The students must understand the differences. कि आपके red flags क्या हैं, correct क्या है. Like we can discuss a difference between the tax avoidance and the tax evasion.
Exactly.
If your client is doing tax evasion, there is very thin line. If your client is doing tax evasion, then it's a red flag. And if he is doing a whole lot of tax avoidance, then also it is a sort of red flag, and you must check.
I know.
So this thing also
they have to understand that thin line, and then have to be very meticulous at the red flag scenario, because there's several ways to describe the red flags and thing in the whole of audit of a company.
Yes.
So at each stage, they have to first see what is the procedure and what's the deviation, and whether there is any suspicion and things like that. They have to do it meticulously, and where any management said are objecting to checking or something. Also, at internal audit, sometimes they say you need not verify that, you should verify that. So they have to take all those also into account and accordingly report, and you should not take up such assignments where you are restricted in your work, because tomorrow it is the auditor is responsible if something is discovered. So it's highly important. First, they should understand the concepts. Then only when they go to the audit scenario, they will know exactly how to conduct. So in my opinion, the students should first understand and not go there and do mechanically. The standard checking. Okay, check. But this concept, in my opinion, I may be wrong. Still, this fraud awareness is very, very less among many people, both in the students are thing, and because of my experience, I'm saying, suppose if I post something, I'm very active in LinkedIn also, something in the ACFE group, okay, and the same thing in the normal LinkedIn post. If to give a simple example, 100 people see in the normal, 1,000 people see in the ACFE group, because that is a professional group.
Yeah, so I know. I'm also a member of ACFE.
Yeah, ACFE, they are very interesting. And similarly, just like the shorts and all, if you put a short about something like beware of frauds and do not get carried away by this, do not lift your phone and all this one, there will not be many views. Okay. And to tell you, I recently learned golf. If I put something of a golf shot, there will be 5,000, 10,000 views. So what I'm saying is, trying to say people, the awareness and the both the layman and even the professional community and the students, I find still the focus on this, we all do the firefighting run, and then only when we are put into trouble and the company that we audited ended up in a fraud or something. But otherwise, the focus on this awareness itself is not very high. That, but down the line, with all since technology and all is so fast developing and all, it is not like even like 1 decade or 2 decades back. They should move forward and be more tech savvy and learn all these tricks of the trade. Instead of still, I feel even today mostly the routine auditing is being done.
So we have one question. Which law protects whistleblowers in India?
Sorry?
Which law protects whistleblowers in India?
Which law protects whom?
Whistleblowers.
Sorry?
Whistleblowers.
No, sorry. It's just,
I'm asking in India, which law protects whistleblowers? Like Edward Snowden, whistleblower.
there's some disturbance.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please tell.
I was asking, there is a question. Which law protects whistleblowers in India?
Business?
Whistleblowers. It is in the chat box also, questions.
Wait, let me see it. Should I stop this share?
No.
Ready to see the chat?
You can stop if PPT is complete. You can stop sharing also, not an issue.
Yeah.
There is a question in the chat box. Which law protect whistleblower?
Whistleblowers in India.
Yeah.
Okay. See, actually, there is, to my knowledge, there is no protection as such. That's why people do not come out too much. Whereas in US and all, they have more stringent whistleblowers protection laws. But in India, we do not have anything specific to protect. That's why we do not say too many whistleblowers, because that itself is a highly risky thing. First, he will lose the job if he is an employee. Okay? And there'll be threats, there'll be harassment, and people can go to any extent if it's a big corporate which the person is trying to expose. No, it's a highly risky thing. So, protection as such, we only talk of whistleblowers. We should drop this thing, or you can, without your name, you can drop, and all things like that. And every company may be having a whistleblowers policies and all that one. But if the person is exposed, to protect him, in my opinion, there is no law.
Is there something in Whistleblowers Protection Act? I think 2014 or something like.
Is there a Whistle Protection Act?
I'm not fully aware of, but just asking. Somewhere I heard, but not sure of whether it is actually enacted or not. But something come up.
No, policies and procedures having individual is different from having a statutory act. Who will protect if today I report about some fraud of a company or anything as an outsider? See, whistleblowers can be both insiders and outsiders, not necessarily. Or he may be an ex-employee, he may be a vendor, he could be anybody who has knowledge, or he may be a contractor who lost his contract, but he knows that some bribe was taken and given to the other. They are all whistleblowers, but there's no law protecting as such.
Okay. So, there's one connecting question. What are red flag frauds?
See, there is nothing like a red flag frauds. It is a red flag is something that indicates about any fraud. Say red flag is a suspicious. Suppose a suspicious transaction is there. Why? Okay, In the bank audit, suppose you in the exception report you see something that is not paid attention to, some big amount or whatever, maybe some transaction. See, that one, an indication that you will go to it. There's no red flag fraud.
Okay.
There's nothing like a red flag and fraud. They are two different concepts. See,
Basically, these are the indicators of a fraud which may happen or which might have already happened.
No. Red flag is an indication,
yes,
of a particular transaction which we are auditing or what, where created a suspicion that why this is so, why this amount came like this, or why this transaction, or why this journal entry is posted like this one. Things like that, no? So, it is something during the course of audit gives you a suspicion of why. Of course, if that is justified, then it is fine. Otherwise, it may, if it is not supported or justified or not replied, means something is cooking.
Yes. But to add to you, like some of the enterprises are also have developed a concept of this yellow flags and green flags. Yellow flags they usually use for enforcing a preventive measures. They highlight their reporting system highlighted transactions like unusual high transaction for few times or log into a system. So they just use it for a preventive measure. So that ki aapka wo next stage mein,
that is also an
indicator.
Sort of indicator, like a yellow light on the signals.
Yes, definitely. And a green flag also they are using. And this is like just we discussed earlier in this session. That's too good to be true. Like unusually high profit margin aa raha hai, or high returns provide ki ja rahi investment mein. Like
I know.
In the case of Ponzi schemes, what initially hota hai, the high returns are given. Then these are also the things.
That's where mainly too good to be true. But still people go. But still, if 2% somebody is going, people will stand with their heart.
Yes, definitely.
That is the problem.
So can we discuss something on the interviewing technique, especially like our students go to the client place and they interact with the accounts team, like maybe up to the account manager. Let's keep directors level outside, but still.
I do not actually. There are some videos. I don't know where I can. You see, interviewing is one of the basic fundamental things of during audit. Okay, nothing we can everything by ourselves search and all that one. Sometimes you find something. It is your skill of talking or interviewing a concerned person, whether it's a clerk, or an officer, or a manager, to get details of it. Then the way they respond, the body language and the way they respond, people don't look into your eyes if they're not telling the truth. And they visit here and there when they are talking. If somebody has done a fault and you are talking, he will not show confidence in his answers. And the story that he has begun may change by the time it comes to the end. And that's why they say in interview things, sometimes you reverse the story. You tell him, you again go back and you go to the beginning. You will find he started somewhere
the
and
story is changed.
So you tell him, okay, after some time, can you just tell me in the reverse way? You will know whether he is telling the truth or not. Okay, and so that is how it is told that the body language is most important. That's why in the beginning I told you somewhere the psychology.
That fraud triangle. And before that, psychology of the fraudster.
No, even fraud triangle explains why people commit fraud. Okay. Beyond that one, psychology also, it is better that people need not do psychology, but at least buy a book on psychology just for the heck of it. Simple books. Yeah, I do have a couple of them. Yeah, just out of interest, you should read. I mean, even while not necessarily in audits and all, even generally also when you are talking or interacting, if you know some by the other person's, mainly the body language and the way they
Yes.
conduct themselves, and uh, one can an expert interviewer at a student level, I do not know, they are all youngsters. But out of experience you will get it there. Suppose if I am talking now with somebody, my way of analyzing him will be different from a student talking with the same person.
Yes.
Because
And at this stage, like if we talk about that again, that audit, sorry, like you do physical audits of stocks and
yes,
cash.
exactly.
So my suggestion to all the students is that you must go to the actual place where the stocks are kept, whether it is raw material or finished goods or anything.
Yes, obviously. See,
Because then you will get to know कि आपका stock जो है, that in balance sheet you are showing the stock which requires a area of, let's say, 1,000 square meter, and the godown is actually of only 100 square meter. Then where the stock is kept?
I know. And also, no,
Insurance, most of the insurance fraud happens in this
exactly.
exaggerated stock values, and
I know. The
one
thing
must
is,
take care of.
yeah, they have to go to the physical spot. That's what we say. So these
Yes.
non-moving stocks will be there, where where I used to ask the students to get the statement and compare it from, suppose it is an internal audit, from quarter to quarter, whether they are still lying there or if they are not, or something that was there disappeared.
Yes,
And as I
absolutely.
told you initially, when something doesn't move from a place, that will disappear after some time.
Agree, definitely.
So, because the psychology of the people there, nobody is taking this calculator, it is still lying there. He'll slowly move. One day it will disappear, for example. So,
Yes.
that's why I used to tell the youngster students that you have to have a keen idea, and it is not necessary everything goes by paper and all this one. You should have a keen eye and ear. You should hear more and observe more. That is a fundamental thing for them to do for a beginning. It is
Yes.
it is not simply going through the paperworks and all these things and Excel sheets. You should be coming back to your question of interviewing means you need not necessarily whether you interview physically or not. You should always observe somebody or other in the stores. The storekeeper may or somebody junior may just whisper to you, no, Baba, nobody comes here, nobody takes care, or some people take away and don't bring it back. See, they tell suppose a Godon keeper will tell the truth.
Okay, how many times that
That
tempo is actually coming and
no.
going out?
They got on normal keeper will tell, ordinary, the lock and key fellow will tell what is actually happening, that the person who is maintaining it.
Yes, absolutely true.
Point for the students to notice, they should be very keen observers. They need not
Yes.
necessarily physically interview, that is not possible every time, but always, even during normal audit, when you get a doubt and ask, the way they explain to you shows that he is not supposed to tell you or he doesn't want to tell you. But there is something there which you can check with my superiors.
Yes.
These are the
Students, adding to your points, student must have their zeal from within to do the work. Like we
yes,
said, you must go to the actual place where inventories are kept, actual place of factory where production is happening, actual
correct.
place, like if for third party confirmation, whether it be bank, like
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
call for bank only, not expect कि आप सभी suppliers के पास चले जाओ, but like a bank, you must go there yourself and get a certificate addressing to your auditor for the balance confirmation. Like Satyam happens just because of this only.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, many of them the thing is, they are all management frauds actually, as you know. More, see, they have a different agenda, and when they cannot achieve that agenda, they will end up with problem. That's how I see these big frauds. They'll
That's
borrow
true.
monies, they'll try to diversify. They don't. Even Enron also is the same. Is how that is. That's a multi-billion, big dollar, huge, wide businesses. But they want to expand, and in that expansion, they have collapsed.
Yes,
Even
absolutely agree.
that's what
Absolutely.
happens in all these. Even that Sachin case also like that. They want to acquire lands everywhere, even though that is not their main business.
But keeping in mind that the students are attending, and our
Yes.
humble suggestion and request to all the students will be कि आप do your work properly. Forget ki what scam they are going to do or what they want. You do your work properly. Give your reporting up efficiently, effectively.
Be a keen observer.
Yes, agree.
One has to listen and then he see carefully, because everything you don't find in the books of account. So yeah, the frauds are always outside the books of accounts.
Yes,
so
and in day to day, you might not know that you have become a part of that fraud. Like one of the technique is that stenography.
Yeah, stenography.
Which you never hidden. Know ki what message you have passed to whom.
Yeah, because that is
forward.
It is hidden behind a picture or something, or
yes,
or something. It may be hidden by in the Excel files with the same color, things like that.
For our students, let me just clear you that this steganography is a technique where a message is hidden, a secret message with an ordinary. You will see a simple picture or a video or a text message or audio message, anything. But there is a hidden file or hidden message which you won't be able to see a simple normal eye. You need a different software or something like that to extract that actual message. It actually conceals the existence of the actual message.
Yes.
It can be a good it can be for a good purpose, like international countries uses during war, and other times it is being used. But nowadays this is being used, sorry to say, for creating riot situations and all. So keep your WhatsApp forward minimum.
Yeah.
This is the basic thing which you can do. And now that you are into a profession, you must keep these things also in mind.
Yeah.
So that should be done.
No, that is a very that is one of the objective type of questions in the
yes. You never know when you have become part of that.
I came to know about it only after undergoing the training about all those things like forensics.
We all come to know for anything when we study those things, and
exactly these things. What I feel is my humble request to the even to the institute. It is not that somebody waits for his year to complete, because unfortunately, as you know, people take time to complete. Right? Not everybody completes as soon as as soon as possible or decide. So the point is, in the study itself, this subject should have much more exposure in the studies, as with whatever topic it may be. It should not be a part of a mention in auditing. Yeah, it should be so that irrespective of a person qualified or not or whatever, and still if he is in this field, they will understand all these things. So besides being we got several post qualifications once and everything, we cannot fixate. But this is something very relevant to a person who want to be in this field, even till that, irrespective of the time taken for the completion or whatever. Because once the articles are over and all that one, after an attempt or two, they will join a job. They may be doing a job or something till such time and all. Whatever thing is, they should acquire this knowledge and just study itself. Do you agree with me that there is not uh, enough subject matter of what all briefly we have discussed on this fraud awareness?
So this is what our institute and Board of Studies already they are into this or improving the courses and all, and this practical training module is one such thing.
Well, practical module training is fine. If it is more like a subject, it will get into the minds of the youngsters much more.
Let us leave it to your to our alma mater.
I know. It is a whatever is we talk is only a suggestion.
Yes.
Because because we are talking from their point of view, and I have also seen and even while writing that small book 2 years back during COVID period, I took the help of a couple of my students also. In giving some matter, telling them, giving them something to just look into this one and give me the feedback and all.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. Like it's 12:56 already.
Yeah.
And we have discussed all the queries which have been posted by the students.
Okay.
All have been discussed. And now we need to close the session.
I know.
If anything else you need to you want to explain anything or
no, actually, we have in general we have discussed a lot of this one about starting from what is fraud to how it is applied and what we mean at these things and all, and it is for the students to show more interest in this one, and they are all welcome to directly contact me also for anything that may want to know further. And I thank you and all the organizers and the ICAI for giving this brief opportunity to express my thoughts on this one.
So now, sir, I would request Vidhi Gupta ji to please give a formal vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Asha ji. Thank you, Narayan sir. On the behalf of Board of Studies, I want to thank our eminent faculties, both the faculties.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone present online. Our Honorable Chairman, C.A. Sushil Kumar Goyal ji, and respected Vice Chairman, C.S. Sridhar Mupala ji, and the keynote speaker, C.A. Piyush Chhajar ji, and all the participants. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all dignitaries. On the behalf of Student Skill Enrichment Board, Board of Studies Operation, I extend a warm welcome to all the students present online in the webinar. I may like to express our sincere thanks to C. Narayan Rao Kulluji for giving an excellent coverage to the topic and encouraging us with the words and enhancing the knowledge in a lucid way you presented to the students. A very special thanks to our technical moderator, C. Asha ji, for providing immense support to make this webinar successful. Superb session, ma'am, touching upon the important aspects in such a simple manner, and kudos to you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I must thank organizing teams for working hard for every weekend to make this series of webinars successful day by day.
Wish you all a happy Diwali. Happy Diwali.
Thank you, sir. I congratulate all the participants for their active participation. Thank you, everyone, once again for making the great success. Dear students, stay tuned with us every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. to enhance your skill sets on the practical training modules. Happy Diwali to all of you. Thank you.
Happy Diwali and thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.